What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for yet another Tottenham update, going into the last 24 hours of Tottenham transfer news. And we're going to start off talking about Callum Hudson-Odoi. As David Heitner said yesterday that Tottenham are considering a move for Callum Hudson-Odoi, and Spurs were offered him last summer, but moved for Brennan Johnson instead. But Spurs' opinion towards him has changed after a fine season at Forest, and they have him on their wish list for which they expect to have a busy summer transfer window. Sam Cunningham says that Nottingham Forest will be forced to sell a player by the 30th of June to avoid the FFP penalty and a potential points deduction next season. However, and there's always a however with Tottenham, Alistair Gold says within Spurs there seems to be a pushback against that. The current feeling seems to be that he's not someone that they're looking to go for.
Well, I can see him both ways. I actually like Hudson-Odoi, but it depends how much he's going to cost. He will be fairly cheap, but obviously 8 goals this season. I think he's got an unbelievable strike, but I do question his decision-making at times. I think he's got quality, and I think he is really starting to maybe come into his own a bit as finally at 23 years of age he's starting to realise his potential. But I think what we want in a winger on the left-hand side is a winger who creates a few more chances and lays chances on the plate for his teammates and gets to the byline, gets balls into the box across the face of goal. And Hudson-Odoi's biggest strength is coming inside and shooting. So I do question whether he is the best fit for how we want to play our wingers. But I do see his quality and his potential. So I also kind of see like it could be worth taking a punt if he's cheap.
Yeah, I feel like he's onto a bit of a good thing at Nottingham Forest at the moment, reinvigorating his career a little bit. It's his best season he's had probably in his career in terms of first-team football and goal contributions and making an impact. He still has been very up and down this season, but I completely agree with you. Like, he's got qualities for sure, but has he got the qualities that we want in a winger? Hugging that touchline, getting good crosses in the box, arriving late at the back post for crosses from the other winger. We've got a winger in Heung-min Son who's probably elite at what Callum Hudson-Odoi is, which is cutting inside and finding the back of the net from those angles. Do we need two of the same kind of? Obviously, Heung-min Son is worlds apart from Callum Hudson-Odoi right now, but do we need two wingers of the same kind of attributes on the same side? I don't really think we do.
Yeah, probably not. What I would say is Hudson-Odoi is proving to be one of the most clinical players at that finish. I think he's done it. I think most of his 8 goals are literally that finish on that side of the penalty area.
It's a Heung-min Son finish.
And he does it with such power, such whip as well. It's very, very impressive. So that is something to take note. But yeah, I don't know. I think he has to improve his decision making and chance creation. I
would get it like if we were to sign another winger on top of him. He's a winger that can probably cover both sides, but again, like I don't think he's the exact winger style that Ange Postecoglou wants. And if we're going to bring in a winger, if we're going to spend any kind of money on wingers this summer, I want it to be the exact profile that Ange Postecoglou wants, and I just don't think he's that. Next up, we're going to talk about Mohamed Simikan. Bild are reporting that Tottenham are in the picture for RB Leipzig's defender Mohamed Simikan this summer. If the report is true, then it's a very interesting one because he is a top right back, had a really good season at Leipzig this season, mainly at centre-back, but previously to this season he has predominantly played at right back.
Yeah, so fills a couple of positions. I do think he'll be quite expensive. Obviously Leipzig do tend to sell when the right offer comes, so I wouldn't be surprised if they are interested in getting some money for him. I think he's had a really great season for Leipzig. He's really strong, very good on the ball as well, given how offensive Leipzig are. Has played, I think, 14 games at right back, but majority have been at centre back, but he's shown very adept to play in both positions. But the question mark is, are we really going to lay out a significant fee for him I don't know. Look, given that we're not in Champions League, we don't have unlimited resources this summer. We never do anyway. So we're going to have to, when we spend big money, pick and choose our players. And I don't know if we're going to choose, unless if it's like 30 million, maybe, but I think it's going to be nearer to 50, and I don't know if we're going to spend that money on him.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. But in terms of the actual player, I think he would be absolutely brilliant for us if we can get some sort of deal over the line. Let's talk about Ederson of Atalanta again. Matti Moretto says that only an offer exceeding 50 million euros for Ederson would make Atalanta hesitate. He's too important for the team, and it makes sense. You look at the Europa League final, you exactly saw how important he is to that team just by that one game alone. Stepped up in the big occasion. an unbelievable player in that number 6. And if we're looking to take that number 6, which we are, to the next level, I think he would be a brilliant addition to that.
Yeah, I think if he, if he can perform, like he has
Got
done,
the Ange cough.
Yeah, I think so. If he can perform regularly like he had in that Europa League final, then I think definitely we're on to a real quality player. He's had a really consistent few seasons for Atalanta as well. He's been linked with Tottenham a few times. One thing I do question, I think he's really good when he's like playing at 100 miles an hour. He covers so much ground. He's really, really great at pressing. It's when the game's a bit calmer, when he has to slow down the pace a bit. We have to see what he's like in those situations. But I think he's a really good technical player as well. He showed that in the final, his ability to get on the ball and play forward and carry the ball as well. We saw how much ground he can cover. So there's a lot of potential there. 40 million to improve your number 6 is absolutely nothing. So if that's the price and we want him, that shouldn't be an obstacle.
Yeah, totally agree. Next up, we're going to talk about a player called Rav van den Berg of Middlesbrough. The Bleacher Report say that Tottenham are interested in signing Middlesbrough's defender Rav van den Berg. The club have extensively scouted him and are now considering making an official bid. AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund are keen on him too, he's actually an interesting player when you look at him. He's 19 years of age. I think it's his first season at Middlesbrough this year, in somewhat of a breakout season. He's played 21 games at centre-back, 12 games at right-back, scoring 1 goal in the process. And
left-footed right-back?
Huh? No, he's right-footed.
Oh, it says here left-footed.
Oh, on mine it says right-footed. Maybe he's both. It says right-footed on mine.
Oh, interesting.
But anyway, either way, he's a Dutch centre-back that can play right-back. And if he is left-footed, like you say, it could be a perfect profile for us because it gives us cover on fullbacks, because it says here he can actually play left fullback and right fullback, and it gives us cover at centre back as well. And if he's having a real big breakout season at Middlesbrough and the likes of even like Borussia Dortmund, and we know what their recruitment's like through the door, I think this one is a much more viable option than a Mohamed Simakan.
Well, it's definitely viable. A teenager from Borough is always going to be a bit more attainable.
Of course.
Than a player who's 24 starting every week in the Bundesliga. I'm just looking at his stats. He actually profiles fairly well for a ball-playing centre-back, which is quite interesting. So I think he clearly is has quite a bit of composure. 6'3" as well, so quite a tall player for a 19-year-old. So clearly one who's performing quite well in the Championship and making waves. Obviously, as a 19 years of age, to be a centre-back in the Premier League is a different kettle of fish. So whether we think he's ready is another decision we have to make. But clearly, as one, I can understand why he's piqued our interest.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you know more about Rav van den Berg, let us know in the comments section below. Let's finish off talking about Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg, as AS reports that Atletico Madrid believe a deal to sign Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg is feasible this summer. Simeone has wanted a defensive midfielder since last summer, and the Tottenham midfielder has always been his top target. A deal between the two clubs could not be reached a year ago, but Spurs are eager to sell him now, and he has only 1 year remaining on his contract. So is this the year that Simeone finally gets his man?
Here we go again. After last summer, literally every day, Hojbjerg, Atletico, every bloody day. So now it starts. Obviously, I'm sure Spurs are probably demanding at least 10 million less than they were last season, so maybe that's something Atletico can afford. But yeah, as I've said before, teams around Europe are really struggling for cash at the moment. And even a price like 20 million in the Premier League, you barely blink at that price. But around Europe, that is a big outlay, unfortunately, for teams looking to sign players. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe it's a loan with an obligation, or they can spread the payments or whatever. But obviously, it'll be a great move for him.
If it's a loan with an obligation, that means he's going for free because he's only got 1 year left in his contract.
Well, obligation with money. You can do that's what Arsenal do with Raya.
Yeah, that's true. Did Raya have 1 year left?
So, I think you can do that. I'm not sure how it works, but I know you can do it. But obviously, it'll be great for us, great for him. I think he'll really fit in at Atletico. But whether Atletico have the cash.
He fits that Simeone system, doesn't he? Down to a T.
Mm-hmm.
So much more than the Ange Postecoglou system. But look, I think 20 million is realistic from Atletico. I really do. Another year in the Champions League, if they make him their priority, they still make signings every summer, don't they, Atletico?
Mm-hmm.
maybe not like in the 50, 60, 70 million bracket, but they do spend that kind of figure. So if he's their number one target, I don't think 20 million is too steep for him.
You would have said that last summer.
It's true, but we wanted more from him last summer.
Yeah, but 30 million, 20, you would have thought it wouldn't be that much, but
yeah, but we'll see what happens, won't we? But that is your Tottenham update. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories we brought you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.